Today's video is brought to you by my sore Achilles tendon, because I'm always pushing my body a little bit more than what my tendons are willing to keep up with. So if you want to learn how to put some kinesio tape on your Achilles tendon to hopefully knock down some pain and discomfort and maybe even heal up a little bit quicker, then stick around and watch this video. Hey everyone, welcome to another video. All right, now I know that you're here because you want to learn how to K-tape your Achilles tendon to hopefully feel a little bit better and get you moving better. So I'm not going to waste your time. I've got timestamps listed below so you can jump right to the actual application process if need be. But I just want to take a quick minute and run through some general principles of what we're trying to do here so that you have a better understanding of what's going on and how we're going to achieve the best outcomes possible. So applying kinesio tape to your Achilles tendon in this case, but elsewhere on the body as well, is a great way to actually just kind of turn down what we call nociception to the brain so that you start to feel a little bit better and you have a little bit less pain and discomfort. Now, if you want to learn more about this process of nociception and how it actually kind of works by distracting your brain from the discomfort that you're feeling, well, you can read up on a theory called the gate control theory for pain. Really cool stuff. It's a little bit geeky, but hey, if you're a geek like me, it's pretty cool. So the theory here, by applying some kinesio tape over this area of the body, is that we're not only distracting the brain from some of that pain and discomfort coming from the tendon itself, but also we're really trying to lift the skin away a little bit from the tendon and other tissues underneath. The theory being is that that's going to help to increase fluid dynamics around that area, help the tissues breathe a little bit more, so that hopefully we're creating a little bit of a faster recovery process. All right, and remember, this isn't a cure by any sense, but it might just wind up helping you feel better and move better while you kind of maybe seek additional treatment for this Achilles tendon if it is being pretty stubborn on you. So here we go. I'm going to talk about principles of what we're going to try and do here, and then I'll show you the step-by-step sequence of how we're going to do this. Now, keep in mind, there is no one single right way to apply kinesio tape to your Achilles tendon. There's multiple ways you can do it. You just really want to follow principles rather than getting caught up too much in individual application techniques. The way I'm showing you today is just a standard way I like to do it on a lot of my patients, or even myself, just in terms of making it simple, straightforward, but also highly effective, and making sure that that tape is really going to stay on your skin. So you sometimes will see a lot of people just put tape on the bottom of their heel and then run it right up the back of their leg. I'm not a very big fan of this because that tape's going to come off the bottom of the heel really quickly, and as well, we're just not getting as much kind of coverage for skin stimulation as we could from an application like what I'm going to show you. But to each their own, just find something that works for you, take the principles I show you today. Don't be afraid to kind of try different techniques based on what you need. As for the brand of tape, use whatever you want. In this video, I'm using a brand called T-Max just because I had to have a little bit of extra sitting around, but you can use whatever brand that you have. It's all going to work largely the same. Okay, so when it comes to what you're going to need for this type of taping application that I'm showing you in this video, you're just going to essentially need 2 strips of tape. You're going to need one strip about 16 inches long and then the other one about 8 inches long. Now, if you want to go above and beyond and really make sure that the ends of the tape are going to stick to your skin, then you can take a product called Cover Roll, also called Hyapfix. It's just a hypoallergenic cloth tape used for a variety of different applications, but we're going to use it here where we're going to cut off some small tabs, round off the corners, and then from there we're going to use that to really anchor that tape down onto the skin to make sure that tape is not going to lift up on you. So the last principle I'm going to just quickly touch on is that you want to make sure you prep the skin good so that the tape is going to stand the best chance possible for staying on your skin. So all you're going to do, make sure the skin is dry, make sure it's clean, including the bottom of your heel. And then if you're a guy, you're probably going to want to just kind of buzz up the back of your leg so that you have a better application for that tape to stick down onto your skin. Otherwise, it's just going to stick to the hair and it won't be nearly as effective. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you the application technique, follow along, and then hopefully it's going to help you out with moving better and feeling better. Okay, so now that we've prepped everything, we've got dry, clean skin underneath. We've kind of prepped the back of the skin if need be, shaved everything down. We're good to go. Now, the other thing you'll notice, I've put a little kind of red dot with some washable marker just for the sake of this video to help you guys see where my sore spot is. I'm going to try and give that maximal coverage here. Maximal coverage in theory is going to help a little bit. And again, this is all just trying to turn down nociception to the brain, just meaning that we're using the tape on the skin to kind of stimulate the skin receptors to distract the brain from the pain that's happening underneath. And then in theory, lifting the skin away a bit from the tendon, just so that we have some better fluid dynamics underneath. So hopefully that's going to give some benefit as well. So now, what I'm going to do here, and bear with me by the way, I'm trying to make sure the camera angles are good and you guys can see everything. So a little bit of a challenge to navigate these camera angles as I tape myself, but you guys are totally worth it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take the 16-inch long strip of tape here, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold that in half, and then I'm going to take the halfway point here, and then I'm just going to tear the backing. So let me just make sure I got that again. So there's my halfway point, kind of right on that thick line. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just give that a nice little tear right down the middle, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to try and do the taping as well so that I'm kind of kneeling. Let's see if you can see it from this angle. Kneeling forward a bit so my ankle is going that way. Now I'm in this half kneeling position here, meaning one knee is down and then my front leg, the one I'm taping, is up, so that I can easily lean forward and hold that position while I tape. Theoretically, it's a bit more effective and ideal. It's not necessary though, so you can go into whatever position you want, but this I think just works good for the demonstration purposes. So now what I'm going to do, just make sure you can see everything there. I'll angle myself a bit. Let's see if that works. So now I've got the tape torn. I'm just going to fold up the back there a little bit like that, and I'm just going to crease it down. And I'm just folding it up enough so that now I can take my heel and I can drop the tape on kind of right underneath there. See if I can pull that back a little bit so you can see it better. Perfect. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, while I'm leaning forward, this is where it gets tricky with the camera. So now I'm going to take one end, it doesn't matter which one, and from there, I'm just going to spin myself a little bit so you can see me leaning forward there. I'll start on the back side, and you'll be able to see the other side in a second here. I'm going to take the tape, and I'm going to kind of give a decent amount of stretch. A lot of people say around 50%. I tend to go a bit more than that, but you don't really want to go 100%. And now I'm going to cross just behind the outside ankle bone, and you'll see it on this side here in just a minute, but I'm just going behind the ankle bone on the outside, and I'm just going to keep the stretch on as my hand gets in the way there. This is where it gets tricky. But now from there, I'm laying it down, and then I'm just going to make sure that I cross the sore spot, and I'm going to try and avoid wrinkles, because big wrinkles in the back just aren't going to feel that great if you got kind of shoes on or anything like that. And now I'm going to keep peeling the tape up, and I'll try and kind of keep coming right up the calf here. Again, this can be tricky to do, especially if you've never taped yourself, but it gets really easy after 1 or 2 attempts, and this looks a lot more difficult because I'm trying to keep the camera angles good for all of you so that everyone sees what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to kind of brush that a few times just to make sure that's really sticking on the skin. Come around, brush through there. And now the same process happens here. I peel a bit of that tape away. And again, I'm just going to come right behind that ankle bone. And I'm just going to make sure that tape is sticking. And then from there, I'm going to just come right up the back side there. And I just try and lay the last inch down without any stretch on the tape. Theoretically, that just helps to avoid skin irritation. Okay, and so that's looking pretty good. Now, my foot wasn't leaning as far kind of forward in that direction on this demonstration, but the more you do that, theoretically, the more it should help, but don't get too caught up on that. So now we're looking pretty good, but what we need to do is we need to make sure that this area right in through here really stays anchored on, because sometimes that's going to kind of lift up and peel up pretty easily. So the best way to do that is we're now going to take our 8-inch strip of tape, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to approximate, tearing right down the back. And then from there, I'm just going to kind of peel that paper backing just a little bit, if it's going to cooperate with me. Perfect. Okay, so something like that. And now while I'm still leaning forward, I'm just going to come, and again, we're going to go right underneath the ankle bone right there. So I'm going to pull a big stretch, and that first piece is going to come around, and then once I've kind of got it on there good enough, I'm going to come through there, nice little pull, and that wraps on through there. We sometimes call this a horseshoe, but the added benefit of doing this little horseshoe is so we know that the tape kind of underneath the ankle bone region is going to stick a little bit better. Just going to readjust that piece that's a little bit high for my liking. But also, again, we just get a little bit of extra lift in theory right over that sore spot where I kind of had that X. So something like that. So there's kind of the side of the horseshoe there. And now the last thing that I want to do because I just really like giving my best efforts on all this, is I want to make sure that all these loose ends here and right here stay kind of down firmly. And so the best way to do that is I'm going to take these little Hyapfix tabs here, where I've just made the squares and I've rounded off the corners. And if you're not familiar with Hyapfix, it's just a hypoallergenic cloth tape with some extra adhesion. And so again, I'm just going to pull the backing off that. This one's a little wrinkled, but that's okay. And then I'm going to take, well, I'll come on to this one here for starters, half of the Hyapfix, and it's just going to go on, half of it's going to go on the tape, half of it's going to go on the skin, and that really just helps to anchor everything down. Again, this might not be the prettiest tape job because I'm kind of contorting myself in weird positions all for the sake of the camera, but it's more than a pleasure to do that for you guys to help you out. And then I'm just going to lay these tabs down, kind of each and every little piece here, piece of the tape. So peel that off. The Hyapfix isn't necessary, but if you're going to be someone who's moving around a lot, sweating a bunch, all that good type of stuff, you're going to want to just make sure you kind of give everything you got in through there. And then the last little thing we're going to do is that last little piece, and we're going to be good to go. And so after that, you want to walk around, make sure it feels okay. Again, if you don't get it right the first time, don't worry. It takes a bit of practice, but man, you can bang this out super quick, super easy, and it should feel pretty good. So now I've got my little confetti parade of tape. But again, if you can see there, just got a nice little taping right around that Achilles. And so again, if we kind of just give you some different viewpoints here, you'll see from the front, as I spin around, nice little kind of horseshoe, making sure that's all glued down. And this should stay on for a few days. Hopefully it turns down the nociception to the brain. And then again, you can shower with this on, just pat it dry when you get out. Should be good to go. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anything. But if I have, I'll find a way to still let you guys know in case I missed anything important. So that's what we're looking like. Hopefully that works for you guys. Again, the other thing you could do if you wanted, by the way, is you could start with a piece of tape right on the bottom, run it straight up the middle, and then do what we just did. I'm just not a fan of having it where it's only on the bottom coming straight up. It tends to peel, and then again, the more we can kind of cross through here, the better kind of lift and fluid dynamics we give to the skin underneath, in theory. So that's how I usually, under normal circumstances, like to K-tape an Achilles tendon. So that's the application technique. Hopefully you got something out of that. Hopefully it's going to help you feel better and move a little bit better. If you have a different application technique that you like to use, or if you have a couple of questions about what I've gone over in this video, feel free to leave comments and questions below, and I'll do all that I can to answer them and help you out. Now, if you found this video useful, helpful, or informative in any sort of way, please consider hitting that like button. That would mean a lot to me. And if you are someone who wants to continue to learn how to move better, how to feel better, how to get out of pain, how to become stronger and healthier, consider hitting that subscribe button, because I'm always putting content out on this channel based around that topic. And if you're a physical therapy student or want to learn more about the world of physical therapy, consider subscribing as well, because I also put out content based on those topics as well. So everyone, that's all I've got for you. I hope you're all doing well. Keep looking after yourselves, keep looking after one another, keep making great things happen, and I will see you in the next video.